Welcome to Video Battlethon number 45 of the John Sue and Michael Rosmer Video Battlethon inspired by Gary Vaynerchuk. Today's topic, we're going to talk about what actually happens when you hit rock bottom. A lot of you in life, if you've lived enough years, probably at some point have hit rock bottom. There were dark times in our life, times that really sucked, times that felt like forever. Sure, a lot of you can relate to that. So let's look at really what happens when you hit rock bottom. Like, one thing I realized is when things are starting to go downhill, you start to put some attention and focus to it. You try to create a positive outcome. And the more that you try to change things, some things will work out, some things won't. And sometimes, whatever we try, it doesn't get any better. And it just becomes, how we say, a rolling snowball effect. As the snowball gets bigger, rolling down the hill and getting momentum, you're like, whoa, shit's going in the wrong direction. And as you keep trying, there's been moments in your life where you're like, shit, no matter whatever I try to do, it doesn't help. And that snowball of shit turns bigger and bigger, heavier and heavier, and gains momentum and keeps going. Until eventually, it's gotten so much momentum that it just literally hits rock bottom and splats shit everywhere. And that moment when you realize shit's fucked, it's over, I'm screwed. The moment that you actually that it actually clicks in your mind, that is the exact moment when your idea of self-control and you having 100% control of stuff in your life kind of dissipates and is defeated and disappears. And you just kind of, how do we say, you let go and you stop trying to force things. And then you're just kind of in a, how do we say, a spaceless and moment of disbelief, I guess. You're just so disconnected. And then all of a sudden, other stuff starts to happen, because you still got to deal with it. Problems don't go away. And as things start to unfold, not by your control, but because of other people forcing situations, and making things happen, and then you start to be, how would you say, more reactive to what others are doing, as opposed to somebody who's very strong in self-control and self-belief. They're always more proactive. But when you've kind of lost and how we say, realize that you're screwed, that now you got a problem to deal with instead of trying to prevent the problem, now you're dealing with the problem and working your way from the bottom to the top. That's when you really see things change in a different dynamic. And a good accurate word to describe that moment when you finally relinquish self-control and say, I don't have 100% control, and you just gotta, how would you say, trust in the process and let things go. It's a moment of vulnerability and honesty with yourself. And as crazy as it sounds, the more and more times in your life that happens, the more and more you realize that you don't control everything as much as you thought it did. And that you also, on the flip side, when you realize other people are taking care of things and doing things out of your control, that they don't have as much influence, control over the situation as you thought they did also. It's kind of like a big mix of your effort and other people's effort that creates a situation, and you both have an influence over it. So going back to that is hitting rock bottom opens up, it kind of breaks open your illusion of control, and it brings forth the, how do we say, the power of just allowing things and being out of control. Right? And a lot of people say the power of being out of control. That didn't make sense. It's an oxymoron. It's one of those life experiences that you realize that there's certain things you can't control in life and certain things that you can. And when you can control those things, you will. When you can't, you just gotta allow things to work out and happen. And there's a certain power and confidence that comes with knowing what you can influence and what you can't influence, but more believing in yourself of just making things happen. So yeah, that's just my insight on when things hit rock bottom.